Russell Westbrook in 2016, guarded by a 17-year-old Luka Doncic, turned out to be a huge mismatch. After all, this was Russ at the peak of his powers, leading the NBA in scoring while breaking the record for the most triple-doubles in a season. And then there's Doncic, an international champion already, but he still had a lot to learn. So, Westbrook handed him his first lesson, scoring 18 points within 18 minutes. But this was not the end for the teenager. It was only the beginning. And in a few years' time, Doncic would have his revenge and give the former MVP one of the worst nightmares of his career. 2016 was, if not the best, one of the best years of Russell Westbrook's career. He averaged 31.6 points, leading the league, and was on pace to break the triple-double record previously owned by Oscar Robertson. Westbrook was the king of triple-doubles, and the league was about to find out. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic was a 17-year-old rising star. At 6'6" with point guard handles, a deadly jumper, and an incredible basketball IQ. He was the youngest EuroLeague MVP, but in the 2016 NBA, he was just a young buck who had been on fire since he was 12. But on the 3rd of October 2016, the young Luka was tasked with guarding Westbrook in the preseason game. And it turned out, as you would imagine, Westbrook scored 18 points in 18 minutes, showcasing his transition and half-court game. On the other hand, Luka managed only 3 points in a very humbling lesson in NBA intensity. But even in this struggle, Luka hinted at his future greatness. His vision to see plays before they happened enabled him to make 4 assists and even help his team win the game. And this was just the beginning for Luka Doncic, the moment where the struggles of youth would fuel one of the most remarkable transformations in basketball. After that matchup with Westbrook, Luka's transformation began. It was a rookie's baptism by fire. Westbrook went into that season on fire, breaking and setting records. And what did Doncic do? He did the same. He totally dominated the European basketball scene, making defenses look like amateurs while he played like a grandmaster. I mean, just look at Luka breaking his defender's ankles twice in one play. Luka would go on to win the Liga ACB MVP, showcasing his all-around game, not just scoring, but facilitating and rebounding. He also led the Real Madrid to 2 Liga ACB championships and 2 Copa del Reys. He was named EuroLeague Rising Star twice consecutively, and he clinched the EuroLeague MVP while leading Real Madrid to the championship. That year, he averaged 16 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. But Luka's game was much more than the stats. It was more of a live highlight reel. From deep step-back threes to slick passes in traffic, he did it all. His court vision was exceptional for his age. His handling and shooting under pressure showed maturity beyond his years, and he lifted his teammates. But this European dominance was just a prelude to his NBA career. And after 2 seasons in Spain, he set his eyes on the NBA, seeking redemption against Westbrook. If you thought Luka's resume in Spain impressed everyone, you'd be wrong. The experts still doubted how good he would be in the NBA. Just listen to Stephen A. here.
You need a box office attraction who can flat out ball, who's a big boy, the size, the athleticism, and the combination of all of those things with his gifts that you simply can't teach. I don't give a damn about how this kid in Europe looks. I understand he's a 6'8" point guard. He's surreal. He'll probably be the number 2 overall pick. If it were anybody else, of course you take those things into consideration. But in Phoenix, considering the level of ineptitude that they have raked that city with in terms of its basketball product that they put out on the floor, DeAndre Ayton, there is nothing to think about. There is nothing to talk about. There is nothing to debate.
And who knows? Maybe it was one of the things the experts said that made the Atlanta Hawks trade Doncic after picking him 3rd overall. Well, many believe they did this to move up in the draft so as to get Trae Young, whom we'll also be discussing here, so watch till the end. Anyways, Luka Doncic was back in the NBA, this time to stay and compete. He would get his chance for revenge against Westbrook in December 2018. And in that game, Luka was out for blood, dropping 25 points and leading the Mavericks in a thrilling comeback against Westbrook and the Thunder. This time, Westbrook struggled, managing only 9 points on 18% shooting. It was a new game, with Luka orchestrating like a seasoned maestro, and don't forget when he messed up Paul George. But Westbrook wasn't done, and the very next day, he came back with a triple-double, scoring 32 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. He also helped OKC to a 20-point win. And so, Luka's redemption wasn't over yet. The next time they met, Russ went from Thunder to Rockets, but Luka was unconcerned, dropping a 41-point game on Westbrook. He also added 6 points and 10 assists. The result was a triple-digit blowout for the Mavericks, with Luka not just leading, but personifying MVP-caliber play. It was a statement on his growth since 2016, where his task was merely to contain Westbrook. Historically, Luka's 41-point game against Westbrook ranks among the highest by guards against him. Westbrook, famed for his defensive prowess, now knew what it felt like to be outplayed by an emerging star. And even now, Doncic has a 13-7 winning record against Russ. But then, this wasn't just Luka's story. It was a part of a larger narrative of NBA underdogs who rise from the ashes of early defeats, a narrative that includes another young talent, Devin Booker. During his high school days, Devin Booker had developed into one of the top players on the coast in his first season. The youngster averaged 22.7 points per game and even had a match where he scored more points than the rest of his teammates combined. He believed he was ready to be a star, and so, in 2013, now 17 years old, he faced NBA All-Star Andre Iguodala in a 1v1 game. This wasn't just any pickup game. It was a humbling lesson for Booker. While Booker was still decent, Iguodala used his professional experience to dominate and show the vast gap between a high school recruit and NBA star. It was a schooling session, with Iguodala hitting shots and playing defense like it was game time, while Booker learned what it truly means to compete at the top. Fast forward through Booker's career, and the gap became a bridge. In the NBA, he outplayed Iguodala in 7 of their 9 matchups. No longer the kid avoiding embarrassment, he was a force, reading defenses, sinking tough shots, and outmaneuvering the veteran Iguodala. One standout moment was when Booker achieved a 37-point triple-double against Iguodala's Warriors. This wasn't just a game, it was a declaration. He proved his evolution from a hopeful 16-year-old to an NBA star capable of team leadership. But as you know, Booker is not the only one with this kind of underdog story. So did Trae Young, and Trae Young's teenage years were like a backstage pass to the NBA's elite. He met stars like Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Blake Griffin, and Julius Randle before draft eligibility. These weren't mere photo ops, but signs of a talent learning from the greats. But Young wasn't just collecting autographs. He was scoring. He dropped 26 points on Irving as a rookie, proving he was there to compete. Against Lillard, he scored 35 points in his second year, and against Griffin, when he was on fire, Young matched his athleticism with 30 points. And just like Young, Anthony Edwards was another prospect who turned admiration into confrontation, especially against his childhood idol.
A little back and forth with Kevin Durant there in the third quarter. How fun is that, and what do you make of the atmosphere tonight?
I think everybody here knows that's my favorite player of all time, so that was probably one of the best feelings ever in my whole life, for sure.
Hailed as the next MJ, Anthony Edwards has always been about athleticism and swagger. So, when he went up against his idol during the playoffs, he wasn't just playing. He talked trash to KD to let him know that he is him and he is here in his own spotlight. The NBA thrives on the unpredictable rise of its stars, with Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, Trae Young, Anthony Edwards, and many others. They've all gone from hopefuls to forces that can challenge, outplay, or even overshadow their once idolized opponents. Looking back at the Luka-Westbrook matchups, we witnessed not just basketball games, but pivotal moments in each player's evolution, from rookie trials to legendary triumphs. The takeaway is clear. The next NBA breakout star could be anyone. But who do you think is next? Let us know in the comments. But here's something you should know. Statistically, Russ could be the point guard GOAT. Watch it here next.